Welcome to this session of global marketing, international marketing strategy. We are looking at global marketing mix. We have seen international product and promotion strategies. We have also seen quality adjustments for global requirements. Now we will be seeing international global branding decisions and brand name selection process. Okay, actually these two we have already dealt with in brand management, but let us just jog our memory quickly to see if we are able to capture all the important keywords. Okay, right. So the first aspect is product and brand. So global marketers face the challenge of formulating coherent product and brand strategy world over. Okay, so what will suit one country might not suit another country. So there are services like um, companies with which are internet based companies have from the beginning been able to um, conceive products for international audience. There is no such thing as Google for US and Google for UK and Google for India. So they have managed, IT companies have managed international products and services. But all other aspects of production, maybe it may be cars or food or textiles or designs, any of these things, it's very difficult to bring about a coherent or a uniform product and brand strategy around the world. What is acceptable to one is not acceptable to another for various reasons. Let's take apparels or designs, clothes. Size would vary, preferences of colors would vary, texture, what is convenient for one geography will not be good enough for the other. So like this, it's very difficult to conceive a product and a brand strategy for the international audience because of the various changes that are there in the various markets, right? So what is a product? The keywords: tangible and intangible attributes. Okay, so which you buy for an exchange. Okay, for what is a product meant for? To satisfy a set of needs and wants. These things by now you should be able to correlate these keywords very quickly. Okay, now what is a brand on the other hand? It's a complex bundle of imageries, experiences, hues, colors, names. Okay, so there's not, most of it is intangible, and so that's the difference between the product and the brand. So in most countries, local brands compete with the international brands and the global brands. So if you look at the Indian market, right from jeans, we have international markets, we have local brands. Similarly in all other products. Yeah. So that is the challenge for getting on international scales. A global product meets the wants and needs of a global market. So as I mentioned, the IT companies for IT services have made world uniform. Okay, so whether it's Facebook or Twitter or all of those things, so they have made world uniform. The language text also now is available, so the product is caters to the entire world. That kind of uniformity is very difficult for to obtain in other aspects, right? So a global brand has the same name, similar image, positioning in most parts of the world. Okay, so earlier the example that they used to give for global brands are Coke and Pepsi. There is it's a uniform branding for the entire world, right? So now actually, as I mentioned to you, after the IT industry has come, the this aspect of Coke being the thing has changed. Now the first few brands are Microsoft, Google, Apple, all of those things. Many global companies leverage favorable brand image and high brand equity and co-branding. See, these are the three brand extension. 4 words are there. Let us quickly run through it. We have done this even in brand management. What is brand equity? There are 2 brand equity that we have studied. Brand equity in terms of what is that model? Occur brand equity model, CBBE model, CBBE model and Occur model. So if you look at brand loyalty, brand awareness, quality, association, all these things together is brand equity. What is brand equity? It is the worth, the money worth for a brand. Okay. What is brand knowledge? It is brand awareness and brand image. Image, positive and negative images of a brand. Loyalty is the number of times repeated purchase. So like this, you should be able to these diagrams should flash in your mind the moment you hear these words, because we have been so repetitive in all these things. Okay, so this what is co-branding? Co-branding is 2 companies coming together to brand a product. Like the example we had taken was Inox and the sound system, like that. Okay, so if you see, many companies leverage favorable brand image. Okay, all these companies have tremendous brand worth, and so that is your global branding exercise. So let us see what are the global brands and what their worth is. Amazon is the number 1 global brand. They are just an aggregator and selling for sales of online selling, and $220 billion. Next is Google, Apple, Microsoft, Samsung. So this is the brand value. How did the value arrive? Through brand equity, and through a certain formula they collect certain information and valuate the brand and convert an intangible brand to a tangible value, right? So this is as of 2020, this brand. So this is international branding exercise, right? So what do you do for global branding? Global branding brand leadership. So brand identity and positioning. Brand identity is recollection of the brand name, brand colors, okay, aided or unaided. The name should be in the top 5, like that. Brand positioning is what the consumers hold about the brand in the mind of the audience, right? Architect is how internally the company plans to structure the brand, whether they are to they are extending the line or they are bringing in new products. Brand architect. Okay, so brand building program. So this entire stretch, whether they are going to, how they are going to carry forward this brand to a new country. Okay, and since we have already done each and every one of this in brand management, so it is just like jogging your memory. Okay, the same models you can even put in over here. It's the same thing after all. Okay, so CBB or model this is. You can do that for brand evaluation, international branding. Next aspect is brand name selection process. Okay, so this is a very interesting this one. Selection process is based on this. We have already done. It should be persuasive, memorable, distinct, relevant, emotion. Okay, this is something more than that. you look at this, word derivative words for branding, non-word derivative. In word derivative, you have Apple, Amazon, okay, relevant or irrelevant to the product. Apple is irrelevant to the product. There are so many case studies where he had mentioned that they were going, when they were planning for the product Apple, they were saying within the next 2 days, if we are not going to get any brand name, we are going to name it Apple. So there is no relevance to it. Amazon, there is no relevance to it. Pandora, there is no relevance to it. It's just a fancy name, that's it. So word based, irrelevant to the services that is being offered. Word based, that is relevant to the nature of business. General Motors, then General Electricals, aviation, okay, all of that. So American Airways, all these are relevant description. Then you have non-word irrelevant. This is Zynga, Kodak, doesn't mean anything at all. Non-word, non-irrelevant. Non-word, but then which is associative. LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, associative. Okay, so these are some, what is this? This is a framework where you can start thinking. Do you want this pattern or this? Okay, so if you are going to have a startup, which one will you do? Word relevant descriptive, word relevant associative, right? So this will be a very good guidelines to name brand, to brand your product. And of course, we have seen memorable, distinctive, repetitive, how emotionally they have to be relevant, all these things, right? So this is as far as branding for international scenario, right? You have seen brand values and then models, right? So the next thing in this 4th module is new product development and product life cycle, which we will carry on in the next session.